meeting to order at 9 a.m. If you would please rise for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge of allegiance and the silence invocation and the pledge of allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for another beautiful day in Berry County. We ask your blessings and protection over everyone in this room and over our county. Keep us safe, guide us and bless us, and help us make decisions that benefit our county and move us forward. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Madam Clerk, if you'll call the roll.
Campbell.
Here.
Connor.
Here.
Geiger absent. Getty.
Here.
Gibson.
Here.
Jackson.
Here.
Smelker.
Here.
Thank you. Approval of written agenda, including consent items and items for discussion. Is there anything that anyone on the board wishes to add, change? Anyone from the audience? Joel?
For the September 13th meeting, under Commissioner's comments, can we put Commissioner Getty's comments on the record?
Thank you, David. We will just move that to consent items for consideration. That's how we'll do that, and then talk about it then, if that's okay with you. Okay, so he asked for item A, the September 13th Board of Commissioners meeting minutes, moved to items for consideration. So we will make that item E under the items of consideration. Draw a map here on my agenda so we don't forget that. All right, so do we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms.
Support Jackson.
Thank you. Motion by Gibson, seconded by Jackson, to approve the agenda as amended. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Reports from state and county officers. Dara might be here this morning. I don't see him. Okay, we have none. Limited public comment. At this time, any member of the public wishing to address the committee may do so for up to 3 minutes. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Sally Schuster-Schaff, Commission on Aging Board. The board met and we decided that we wanted to make sure you knew all the good things happening with us. So I'm here on a positive note. We were able to host a lot of fun summer events. We took sponsored trips to Pierce Cedar Creek and Frederick Meyer Gardens. The Spectrum Veggie Van visited and provided fresh vegetables for seniors. They were really nice farm-grown vegetables. We had a great event at Senior Day at the fair. We were able to be inside where there was air conditioning, and if you remember the temperature during the fair, that was really a bonus. We were able to host 2 seatings for lunch with support from Carewell Services. We also had several vendors that were there that had items that were of importance to seniors, and I think everybody had a good time. We had games and just some really nice camaraderie. We hosted a summer picnic that was well attended. We had live music, and then we also had a performance by our senior dance line, and they did line dancers, Western dancers, and did some instruction with that. Ended the day with ice cream, and it was a fun time for everyone. Reminds me of the old banner, and a good time was had by all. We also hosted a retirement party for Tammy. We are now well under the direction of our new executive director, Courtney, but we wanted to honor Tammy for her 35 years of service. That was also well attended. I want to take this opportunity to thank our longest-serving commissioner, and our county administrator for attending all of our events this summer. It was noticed. Your support is also greatly appreciated. And I just want to ask that the board keep an eye on things with our new Facebook page and keep an eye out for Thanksgiving and Christmas parties. We'd love to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Joel Ibbotson, Rutland Township. I think I've said it from this podium before, but I'm going to say it again. My wife is a rural carrier, and if it wasn't for the Meals on Wheels program from the COA and also her as a rural carrier, there's some of the people on her route, especially shut-ins, that would have no contact whatsoever. One lady, she was a retired combat medic nurse, Vietnam, completely disabled, wheelchair bound. And my wife would stop in there every day for lunch on her route. And if it wasn't for that or Meals on Wheels, there would have been no interaction with people like that. So anyway, she's since passed away. Not my wife, the medic nurse. Her body was completely destroyed by Agent Orange. But anyway, just a thank you to the COA for doing that service, and I hope and pray that continues. Thanks.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me try to start this again.
Eldon Schellenbarger, Carrollton Township. I am running for, candidate, should rephrase that, but I'm a candidate for the Hastings School Board. I filed back in April. There's some desperate need there. Of course, I'm going to have some scoffers, people who don't like me. They're going to do everything they can to sabotage me, but that isn't my goal. My goal is to make sure our schools are up and running like they're supposed to. I do have the following endorsements for the school board. I have our Sheriff Darleaf, who has endorsed me. I also have Gary Munson, who also has endorsed me. I also have John Rocha, who also has endorsed me, and I also have Rod Romine, who has endorsed me for school board. And there are so many issues there at the school that needs to be addressed. One of the main issues that I have there is we continue to lose students. And that's partially because of the school board. We need to get some people on that school board. We need to take and have some real heart-to-heart discussions to find out how we can stop the declining enrollment, because it's definitely a detriment, and the school board also needs to listen to the taxpayers with what they tell them. And if they don't listen, it's not going to do our community any good. And I will tell you, this is not a Republican thing. It's not a Democrat issue. It's a community issue that goes beyond party lines. And as a community as a whole, we need to get with people in leadership and our businesses. And we need to have a roundtable. We need to have a discussion. What can we do to keep from getting declining enrollment? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else this morning? All right, with that, I don't see any others. We will move on. Various correspondence. Do any of the commissioners have any correspondence? All right, no correspondence. Consent items.
Madam Chair, I move for the approval of September 20, 2022. I don't think you can hear me very well. Is it picking it up?
A little bit. I can hear you. I don't know if they can.
I move for the approval of the September 20, 2022 Committee of the Whole meeting minutes.
Support Jackson.
So there's been a motion made by Commissioner Getty, seconded by Commissioner Jackson for approval of the September 20, 2022 committee of the whole meeting minutes. This is the consent agenda, so there's no discussion allowed. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Campbell,
Aye.
Geiger absent, Getty,
Aye.
Gibson,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Smoker,
Aye.
Connor.
Aye. Motion is approved. Presentations, we have none. Public hearings, we have none. Items for consideration.
Madam Chair, I move for the approval of claims in the amount of $67,841.94.
Second, Gibson.
A motion by Commissioner Smelker, seconded by Commissioner Gibson for approval of claims in the amount of $67,841.94. Discussion. There being no discussion. Audience, so the motion was again to approval of claims in the amount of $67,841.94. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Geiger absent, Getty,
Aye.
Gibson,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Smoker,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Connor.
Aye. Motion is approved.
Madam Chair, I move approval to accept the letter of resignation from Suzanne Hubner as remonumentation grant administrator and to appoint County Administrator Michael Brown as the new grant administrator for Berry County Remonumentation Program effective October 1, 2022.
Support
you.
Jackson.
A motion by Smelker, seconded by Jackson for approval to accept the letter of resignation for Suzanne Hubner as remonumentation grant administrator and to appoint County Administrator Michael Brown as the new grant administrator for the Berry County Remonumentation Program effective October 1st, 2022. Discussion. Good morning, Luvala.
Good morning. I did not come prepared to present the whole agenda today, but looks like I might be doing that. I do know a little bit about this request. Suzanne Hubner has been the administrator since Rose Anger, the former grant administrator, left and took another position. And Suzanne was appointed by this board to be the grant administrator for the Remon grant. She has since taken a job with COA. She was formerly in the planning department. And I think she's just determined that she just has too much on her plate. So she's stepping away. And there was nobody to step forward. So Michael said, I'll take it on for a while until we can find someone else. So he is hopeful that it will be short term that he's appointed as the grant administrator, and that we'll be able to find somebody else to take that over.
Okay. Questions for Luella? Discussion? You know, I talked to him when we were at the MAC conference, and he said that we would be doing a search to find somebody to fill that position, so. All right, that being the case, I will read the motion again. Approval to accept the letter of resignation for Suzanne Hubner as remonumentation grant administrator and to appoint County Administrator Michael Brown as the new grant administrator for the Berry County Remonumentation Program effective October 1st, 2022. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Getty,
Aye.
Gibson,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Smelker,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Geiger absent, Connor.
Aye. Motion is approved. I think probably what happened is usually when our guests come, they don't come for the board, they come for the cow. So that's what I'm thinking.
Right. They were here last week.
They were, okay. All right. So,
Madam Chair, I
Yes.
move for the approval or to apply for the U.S. EPA Community-Wide Assessment Grant to fund environmental assessment projects for potential brownfield redevelopment sites in Berry County.
Second, Gibson.
So motion by Commissioner Smelker, seconded by Gibson, to approve to apply for a U.S. EPA community-wide assessment grant to fund environmental assessment projects for potential brownfield redevelopment sites in Berry County. Discussion, Luella? Oh, this, you weren't,
Pretty much the information that you have in your packet. We did receive a previous grant, and I believe those monies have been spent, and they're asking for authorization to apply again, and they think that the amount that they're applying for will be sufficient based on their past experience with the other grant.
okay. David, you said on that, don't you, Brownfield?
Yeah, I serve on the Brownfield Board. They got that 300,000 assessment grants been there for, I believe, over 2 years, and it's just about all used up now, so it's the right time to apply for the next round. It's done some very good things in the county, so.
Anyone else? Any discussion, questions? All right, I will read the motion again. Motion by Smelker, seconded by Gibson. Is that right? Thank you, I'm sorry. I only had just a G down. I want to make sure. Approval to apply for a U.S. EPA community-wide assessment grant to fund environmental assessment projects for potential brownfield redevelopment sites in Berry County. Madam Clerk, if you'll call the roll, please.
Gibson,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Smelker,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Geiger absent, Getty,
Aye.
Connor.
Aye. Motion is approved. I don't know why he can't tap that thing quietly.
Madam Chair, I move for the approval of attached master engagement agreement with MGT of America Consulting LLC to prepare a central services cost allocation plan for fiscal years 2022, 2023, and 2024, and authorize the chair to sign the agreement.
Support Jackson.
Thank you. So it is motion by Smelker, seconded by Jackson for the approval of the attached master engagement agreement with MGT of America Consulting LLC to prepare a central services cost allocation plan for fiscal years 2022, 2023, and 2024, and authorize the chair to sign the agreement. Discussion. Luella, this
Yes.
is your one item that you were here for.
I did come prepared for this
That's
one.
right.
So this is an annual report that we just wrapped up the report for 2021, and it has been posted on the county website and with previous years if anybody's interested in looking through that. But primarily we need this cost allocation plan that they prepare for us for our federal grants so that we can justify the amounts that we charge to them. And what it does, it takes a look at each department and how much of their department costs are attributable to accounts payable, to the treasurer's office, to payroll, and to liability insurance. All those costs that we have as a county, what is the share of those costs for each department?
Okay.
So we're just looking to enter into that agreement again. It's the same cost that we've been paying.
In the same firm.
Yes.
So it's just real. Commissioners, any questions for Luella? Comments? On this side? Nothing? All right, I will read the motion again. Approval of the attached master engagement agreement with MGT of America Consulting LLC to prepare a central services cost allocation plan for fiscal years 2022, 2023, and 2024, and authorize the chair to sign the agreement. Should we change that? Am I going to sign that today? That's my question.
Yes, that's the acting chair.
So that, we don't need to change this then?
I don't believe so. If you would like to insert the word vice chair, that would be fine as well.
Made the motion. Is that all right? I mean, look,
That's all right, but you're the acting chair.
I know, I'm just gonna see what's on the grant. Says vice chair.
Fine with me to adjust this to have the vice chair sign it.
Jackson,
Agreed.
thank you. We're just amending the current motion. Okay, so I'm gonna reread this if there aren't any other questions. Approval of the attached master engagement agreement with MGT of American Consulting LLC to prepare a central services cost allocation plan for fiscal years 2022, 2023, and 2024, and authorize the vice chair to sign the agreement. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Jackson.
Aye.
Smelker.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Geiger absent. Getty.
Aye.
Gibson.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye. Motion is approved.
Madam
Right.
Chair,
Go ahead, John.
I move for the approval of September 13th, 2022 Board of Commissioners meeting minutes.
Second, Gibson.
Motion by Commissioner Smelker, seconded by Commissioner Gibson for approval of the September 13th, 2022 Board of Commissioner meeting minutes. Discussion. If you want to step up here, let us, and tell us what you want, unless one of the commissioners wants to comment beforehand. Okay. Nobody does? You've got the floor.
My recommendation to the board is that this particular issue be tabled until the next meeting so that the comments given by Commissioner Getty can be properly transcribed by the appropriate persons and voted thereafter. She made some comments and they're missing from the record.
Do you know where they're missing from to kind of help
In the commissioner's comments at the very end.
Okay, in the commissioner comments?
Yes.
So, so we had a motion to approve them. We'd gotta think about this. This is a little bit different because this is a new motion. So, Luella, one of the commissioners will have to make that motion to approve, to table them. It can't be from the floor. Right. So, commissioners, you would like to postpone this until the next
Whichever would be the proper procedure.
Let's refer it back to a cow if we can get a motion to do that. That's what he's asking, is for this to be tabled so that Commissioner Getty's comments could be put in the commissioner's comments on, it's actually page 3. I have Campbell and I have Geiger, and that's the only thing I have on here. So, but we have to have a motion by one of the commissioners to table it.
Can I just withdraw my motion?
Yes,
We can withdraw the motion, but I still think we need a motion to table it
Yes.
since it is an
Yeah.
item for consideration, so.
so Smelker, you're withdrawing your motion to approve them?
Yes.
And you're withdrawing your second?
Correct. I
Okay,
think it would probably move to the BOC though. That's where we
Okay.
normally approve minutes, but I'll make the motion to table it until next BOC, adding those comments.
Support?
Thank you.
I'm gonna write this down. Motion by Jackson. Seconded by Smelker. To table the approval of the September 13th, 2022 Board of Commissioner meeting minutes to the next Board of Commissioners meeting, which is on October 4th. Is that right?
11th.
That would be a cow, wouldn't it?
It's the 11th.
11th. I'm sorry, you're right, I just looked at the first Tuesday. So the motion was to table the meeting minutes of September 13th, 2022 to the Board of Commissioners meeting on October 11th, 2022. Any discussion? And will you be able to get that done? I had asked Clerk Palmer if she would be able to get that done, and she did answer in the affirmative. Please call the roll.
Smelker.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Geiger absent. Getty.
Aye.
Gibson.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye. Motion is approved. Unfinished business, we have none. Move that out of my way, thank you. New business, we have none. County Administrator's Report. Do you have any? Thank you, Luella. Chairperson's Report, he is off today. Vice Chairperson's Report. I actually have something. Yes. Prairieville Township meeting. Last month when I spoke, Michael Reisen, who is now been hired as the new chief of police in Prairieville Township. I attended the MAC conference. Michael and I went. I attended breakout sessions were dealing with the media, best practices for community engagement, a FOIA update, and emerging challenges in law enforcement. That one was really very interesting. With some of the things that have gone on in the last couple of years, there's lots of legislation in Lansing where they're looking to change the laws that affect law enforcement, taking out in good faith, things that seem small but are very important. So if you're one of those people that gets on and checks out the bills, they're out there and they're waiting. And I don't know, they did talk about Lansing is not going to be in session a lot because of the upcoming election in November and the holidays, but they were hoping that some of these moved on to the new legislation, but some may get voted out in the lame duck session. I also attended planning and zoning. A site plan for a storage facility for Kevin Miller in Delton was approved. And on a 6-1 vote to rescind the approval of a special use application and stipulation for Michigan Materials and Aggregate for the gravel pit on Miller Road. Board of Public Works, this morning we approved a pay application number 11 for the Middleville Wastewater Treatment Project. Brandon, from contractors, Williamson Works, thank you. He talked to us and said that hopefully everything will be up and running by before December, but they hope to have the old tanks cleaned out and modified and updated, so everything is moving along there quite nicely. And that's all I have. So, David.
Had a great vacation at the Carolinas. John, I hope you're feeling better. Animal shelter meeting is tonight at 6 p.m. Economic Development Governance Board meeting is Wednesday at 8 a.m. So it'll be a little busier this week. General Capital is also in town for an open house tonight from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Berry Community Foundation. And I'll be attending that as well. There will be a few other things, hopefully. So, but good.
Okay, thank you. Bruce? Sorry. Commissioner Campbell?
That's fine, thank you. I did attend all of my township meetings again this month. And also, I have a Thornapple and DHHS this week, Wednesday. That's what I have.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gibson?
At the Transit Board meeting, we found out they hired a new bus washer. At the City Council meeting last night, Friends of the Berry County Parks and Trails did a presentation about the historical Trout Park millage renewal that will be on the ballot
this November. They also approved, the city council approved the Hastings Police Department to close Green Street from Broadway Avenue to Cass Street to include all intersection roadways and between the time between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. October 31st, which is Halloween. They also approved purchase and development agreement with General Capital on the front of the court property. Once they start that project, we're being told that they have 24 months to finish the project once they break ground. And we don't know, there's no set time when they're gonna break ground either. That's all I have.
Did you say on the front of the court property?
Yes,
You mean on the property that's adjacent to the front of the court?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, what?
I take it it's a property that Hastings owns.
Oh, okay, that's adjacent to the county property, okay. I was kind of like, wow. All right. Commissioner Smelker?
I attended the Central Dispatch meeting. We okayed the $3 million contract for the second tower from the monies coming from the state. It's just give to us. We don't have to put in for a grant. It's allocated to us. Total incidents were dispatched for 4,888. And year-to-date, we have done 35,835 total calls, which is down 3.16% from 2021.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Getty?
Thornapple Township is also wrapping up their sewage pond updates for the Duncan Lake Sewer Authority, so on the same vein. So
Yeah.
Middleville's really renovated and upgraded their systems in the last year. The Village of Middleville held their interviews for village manager positions on Saturday, and I believe they have extended an offer to a candidate. So hopefully we'll hear an announcement soon. And Yankee Springs Township continues to make progress on their addition. So it's really, if you haven't had a chance to get down there, it'll be a very nice addition to Yankee Springs Township Hall.
Okay. Limited public comment. At this time, any member of the public wishing to address the committee may do so for up to 3 minutes. Good morning again.
Yes, good morning again. Joel Ibbotson, Rutland Township. I spent some time last week doing something I never would have even considered a couple years ago. I listened to the Queen's funeral, all 6 hours of the procession. Why? Well, what a better way to understand where we are than to see where we came from, correct? I mean, we all are, as America, our nation derived from England, did it not? So listening to the funeral, there were a few interesting things that struck me, but what hit me the most was the use of the word subject, a term which we as Americans are quite oblivious to because it's antithetical to the way our nation is set up. It's an interesting word, though, which cuts straight to the heart of the matter. The citizens of England are subjected to their leadership, the powers that be, giving us the subject-citizen paradigm. They have no choice in their leadership. Without getting into a great philosophical discussion in my 3 minutes, though, it would probably include the work of Thomas Paine, Edmund Burke, perhaps the history of the monarchy, and maybe we could even go back to the history of the mastermind behind the Roman Republic, Julius Caesar. You probably see where I'm going with this, at least I hope you do. Here we have a democratic process that elects the powers that be, or more accurately referred to in America as representatives. Hence, we are not subjects. Well, those that live outside of District 2 can say that anyway. I listened to Catherine Getty's comments at the most recent commissioners meeting with disgust. To be honest with the board, I was going to let this issue lay. I wasn't even going to mess around with it because I understood the constraints given to the redistricting committee and everyone else because of COVID, as everything was done in a very untimely manner. However, her comment, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, or one that really kind of got to me was, and the judge made that rule of law. We have a separation of powers doctrine in the Constitution, a separation of powers clause, which makes it abundantly clear in the Michigan Constitution. Judges don't make law. If she was concerned about being a public servant, perhaps she could have given some of her insight prior to the election deadline, setting aside some pride in an effort to preserve every citizen's constitutional right to ballot access. But who am I kidding? That kind of integrity and personal sacrifice does not exist in politics today. We live in an ends justifies the means society, and this goes to exemplify that. I do find some irony in the situation, though. I find it ironic that the judge who installed Getty on the ballot was also installed at one time by our governor. This is the conduct I would expect from an installed bureaucrat rather than a representative public servant, and I commend those who can draw that correlation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Morning.
Michelle Peltier, Hastings. I want to thank Commissioner Smelker and Jackson for the brief report outs on the ARPA in their areas, and I wondered if there were any other brief updates on the ARPA that was approved earlier this year, if there was anything that could be shared with the public just as a status. As a reminder, that was something that would be lessons learned for the next tranche, and if there was anything there. So thank you again for what you've provided to the public, but if there's any other updates that were available, it'd be appreciated. And it seems to me last time it was discussed that possibly September we'd hear something, but if it goes into next month, it's not a request to make a work project out of any of these updates, just a brief status. So thank you.
Thank you.
My name's John Howe. I'm in Johnstown Township, where my wife and I have lived since 2001. Actually, my wife has lived there since 1966. I'm here today as a concerned resident to ask you to provide the Berry County Magistrate with the necessary tools to enforce compliance of community standards when it comes to blight properties. The property at 12094 Winans is a blight property, and I've got some pictures here that I'd like to pass around. For months, complaints have been filed with Berry County Planning and Zoning and with the Berry County Health Department. That resulted in last week's informal hearing by the magistrate in Planning and Zoning concerning the Winans property, which my neighbors and I attended. The result of that meeting was that the magistrate reduced the fine to the property owner from $150 to $50 because there had been some effort to remove some of the junk that was in the yard. Now, of course, after the meeting, that junk mysteriously was returned to the yard. Unfortunately, there was no effort by the magistrate to enforce compliance. Property remains little more than a junkyard. It could possibly be considered a transfer station, as junk seems to arrive almost daily and continues to not only be a visible blight, but an attraction to varmints, an opportunity for the many gas motors that they have in their yard to leach toxins into our water, as well as an unhealthy environment for the children at that address, as well as the neighbors on our street. This property is not unique. At a recent township meeting in Johnstown, a representative from Planning and Zoning indicated that there are over 20 other Johnstown Township blight properties and over 200 complaints of blight properties in Berry County. I'm asking for the Berry County Commissioners to adopt a compliance ordinance that would provide a means for removal of the junk and that cost be attached to the property owner's taxes. This is not unique. Those compliance orders are used by other communities and have resolved issues in other parts of the state. I'd like to thank you for your time and hope you have your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Bob Vanderbilt, Hastings Township. Vivian alluded to a lot of state legislation that's still unresolved here for the rest of the year. And there is one piece of legislation that, being on the Planning Commission, we're acutely aware of, and that is the fact that there is lobbying going on by the gravel mining industry and everything to take over the oversight and the permitting of mining operations to the state level. And that would mean that we as local planning commissions won't have any say in these new applications that goes through. Now, obviously, we as a group of citizens have very limited representation in the state, and but just so you're aware that this is coming, potentially coming if our legislators go ahead and pass it, that, you know, we as a planning commission, we as a county will not have a say in that anymore. So that just kind of a heads up, and if you care to communicate with any state politician, why, please do so to see if we can vote no on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Anyone else? Thank you. Moving on. Other business, we have none. Commissioners' comments. Bruce, Commissioner Campbell, sorry.
That's okay. That's what most people call me. I'd just like to comment on Mr. Howe's blight comments up here. I represent Johnstown, Assyria, Maple Grove, and Baltimore, and it is a serious problem in that area. I have been taken on tours around the various townships. Predominantly, Johnstown does have several issues. It does appear that there are other ways of possibly putting more teeth into our blight situation, and I just hope that in the future our board can task itself with trying to figure out a way to keep our county as beautiful as it has always been.
Thank you. Any other commissioner have any comments? I'm sorry.
Bruce, does Johnstown have a blight ordinance? Johnstown Township?
At this time, we do not. There has been some movement in that direction with the new legal team that the township was hired.
Okay.
Apparently they have a junk queen, and there's 5 ordinances that are in use in townships, municipalities in the area so it's not reinventing the wheel. It's standard language and enforcement code.
I know Rutland just passed a blight ordinance, and Hope Township has one as well. So there are other examples in the county that may be of benefit to help them move forward. And just to clarify, General Capital is having an open house at Berry Community Foundation tonight from 5 to 7 p.m. It's not designed to be a presentation where they're going to be sitting down with a crowd making a presentation. There'll be several people from General Capital there to answer questions, kind of walk through, ask questions, engage as you want, and see pictures of the property, the potential development. So they'll be there if you're interested in learning about the lofts and how that project is coming along or what the potential plans are. It's more of a community event, and you are more than welcome to attend if you have interest in that project. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody? Commissioner Smelker?
On the AARP money for Freeport's water tower, I believe, not 100%, but I believe there's a meeting tonight on that, and there should be more to come after that meeting tonight. Huh? I think it was last night? Then there should be more to come sooner.
Did you say the Delton Water Tower?
Freeport.
Oh, Freeport Water Tower.
Freeport.
Okay.
Water project. And about the blight ordinance, I would like to see the township, I like keeping it local control, just like with the mining. I would like to keep that under local control too. And I'd like to see if there isn't something that we could, what we feel as a commission, and maybe send something to our representatives stating that as a commission.
I don't have anything either. So without any other further commissioner comments, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. Smoker's motion, second?
Support?
Thank you. Jackson? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have a nice week, everyone. Thank you for coming.